That is just crispy goodness. And we learned this recipe on a trip to the Philippines many years ago. Crispy pata, it's amazing. We start out with a pork knuckle. And this is quite a big one we got from the butcher. As you can see, we have some cleaning up to do here. I don't know if you can see it, but we have a little bit of oxidized meat that needs to be trimmed off, obviously. And then we have some hair left over. So one thing we have to do is we have to shave it. So sharp knife, and then you start scraping the skin. And what you will notice is that you get this residue, and that has to disappear. So we shave it all over, get all the hair off. This will take me a couple of minutes to clean all of this, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. And when that's nice and clean, we can move on, and don't despair if there is a little bit of leftovers, because when we boil it, we will be able to skim the scum that will go off, so don't be overly anal about it. Now we're going to go in with our aromatics in our pot, and I want to add them first so that the pork knuckle is lifted up from the bottom a little bit. And whole onion cut in half. A bunch of garlic cloves. I have 6 of them. And then we're going in with 3 bay leaves. A little bit of a specialty item, which is mandatory, star anise.
Oh, that's good. I remember last Christmas.
Very nice. And another specialty item here is black peppercorn, but not regular black peppercorn. These are bourbon peppers. They have a fantastic aroma, I'm telling you.
Where did you get those?
I stumbled upon them online, and when I was ordering other spices, so I had to try them.
Good.
A large chunk of ginger, just cut in rough slices. And because this is sort of 2.5 kilos of pork meat, I'm going in with 30 grams of salt. That's sort of what we need. But anyway, we will salt it again. Tomorrow. No, actually today.
Today? Yeah, with the vinegar.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. I'll show you. Now we're going ahead of things here, but we will show you what we mean. Smoked small chilies, handful of those in. It will not become overly spicy because it's a big chunk of meat and the skin is still on.
No, just some aroma.
And by the way, important point here, skin on, otherwise there will be no crispy. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, we want the crispy pata.
It has to be crispy pata. So we take our pork knuckle, lie it down here.
Yeah, it's good we have big pots, baby.
Exactly. And then we simply cover it with what? Oops, forgot one thing. 200 milliliter vinegar.
What kind?
Just regular white vinegar, distilled vinegar. You could use rice vinegar, whatever you have, but it doesn't really matter. You need vinegar in that for tenderization. And then we cover it up until it's fully submerged. So it's actually fairly simple preparation, not super difficult. And then we get it on our induction burner and we bring it to a boil. And then we're going to let it simmer for probably upwards towards 1.5 hours. But in the middle, we will skim the scum. If anything comes up, we will show you when we get to there. Skim the scum. And first give it full blast and bring it to a boil. So see you when this is boiling and we start skimming. Well, spring is upon us, so we decided to move things outdoors so we could enjoy the view. And it looks amazing, right?
Oh, of course.
Very nice. Now, as you can see, this is at a good boil. So now we're going to turn it down to a simmer, and then you see all this scum here that we need to get rid of. We need to clear this, otherwise it's not going to be nice. Of course, we're not making a broth or a soup, but you don't want all this because this is impurities. So you want to get rid of this. We'll probably have to do this a couple of times as this boils, but we're going to put a lid, and then when I'm finished with this, we'll put a lid. That's what I wanted to say. And then we are going to let this simmer along for, as I said, probably 1.5 hours. When it's nice and tender, I'll show you. Almost 2 hours in, but it was also a big pork knuckle. I'm actually not looking so much for temperature, I'm more looking for tenderness. And this is perfect, so let's try and get it out. Be careful, this is difficult because it's big. There we go. Oop, onion fell out, that happens. And then onto a rack here on a baking plate. And now we're going to let it cool off ever so slightly before we continue. Next up, now we have to prepare the skin. And it's still hot, so on with a insulation glove and a nitrile glove, I wanted to say, so that you can hold it. Because what we need to do now is punch holes in the skin. And if you don't have one of these fancy meat tenderizers with 48 needles, take some bamboo sticks and tie them up like this, and then you have it. And then what we do now is we are going to make holes, and you have to do this while it's hot, because otherwise the skin will get hard. So we just punch a ton of holes, and that will help us dry out the skin, because that's what we need to do now. We need to dry out the skin so we get that really crispy surface on it. And that's about it. Next step, we're going to go with some vinegar to help dry out also. So we're going to brush it with vinegar all around. And after that, we're going to give it a nice coating of salt. And don't be stingy here, because you cannot over-season this. It's impossible. It's way too big for that. So just give it a lot of salt on the outside, because that will help, again, the skin to dry out. And as you can see, I have it here on a rack, so we have air all around, because now we have two ways to go. We are going to leave this in the fridge overnight to dry out the skin. If you don't have that kind of time, you can, in a pinch, put it in an oven on the lowest setting 3 or 4 hours to dry it out. But fridge overnight, that's the way to go. So see you tomorrow. It's the day after, and our pork is nice and dry. Not looking particularly pretty at the moment, but that's going to change in a very short while.
Not at all.
But since my deep fat fryer is not big enough for that chunk of meat, I had to take a big pot with my deep fry thermometer in instead. And I think that's submerged, that's perfect. So we're going to get this started to warm up. We want it warmed up to around 160. We don't want to go too high, because we're going to double fry this. While that heats up, we are going to make a nice little dipping sauce for this. Filipino inspired, but not entirely as they would do it. Yeah. But my kitchen, my rules. So, cup of vinegar, 250 milliliter. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. You can use rice vinegar. You can do many different kinds of vinegar, but this is just regular distilled vinegar. Brown sugar. You could use palm sugar if you want to go a little bit more according to theme. And now we want to get that dissolved here. And that goes pretty quickly.
How much sugar did you add?
60 grams.
Oh, okay.
You want that sweet and sour, and you want that little bit of. I like the dark sugar. I mean,
yeah.
if you want to have a see-through sauce, then you make crystallized white sugar. That's all up to you.
We like it darker.
Yeah, but you see, it dissolves in literally no time. I mean, it's just stir it around a little bit, and then we're gonna go in with 1 small red chili, finely chopped. Add as much chili as you want, depending on your spice level. I'm trying to make this a little bit family friendly, so a small chili today.
Yeah.
Chopped cilantro, fresh cilantro.
That
would not be traditional, but I love cilantro and things like this.
I think it goes in almost everything.
That's also my opinion.
Yeah.
A finely minced clove of garlic, and also here, add as much or as little, or omit it if you don't like it.
So we will stink again tomorrow?
Yes. It's going to be stinky. And then some cucumber, but I don't think I want all of it. Maybe I do, actually.
Yes, to give the freshness.
Nah, okay. This is half a small cucumber, finely diced also. So I think that's going to match nicely here, actually. Yeah, we went with all of it. And then simply mix this up. And then we're going to put that in the fridge. This is going to make a nice acidus balance. Not finished yet, by the way, because I'm forgetting myself here. We want the juice of a lime.
I was about to ask you, there is no lime juice?
Of course there is, but I just forgot it.
God.
They have a hybrid in the Philippines, and I cannot remember the name. I'm sure the editor, he can put it down here, which is a hybrid between lemon and lime, but that's difficult to find here, so we're going with straight up lime. That's what it is.
You use what you have.
Use what you have, exactly. Go with lemon if you don't have lime. That's all up to you. And because this is a sweet and sour thin dipping sauce, I'm not going to add any salt to this because that won't match with this flavor profile. I do want to give it just a small taste. The flavor's not combined yet, but just to know where we are. Ooh, that's going to be so nice against the fatty pork, because it is, a pork knuckle is quite fatty, unctuous and really nice and tender. Dip in this, it's absolutely perfect. We're waiting for the oil, 160, we will see you again. Our oil is rocking at 160 or 325 Fahrenheit. And now we're going to take our nice pork knuckle and lower it in, but be careful.
Oh, I want to see that.
That's a spritzing game, just so you know. If it's not fully covered, use a spoon, baste it over with the hot oil. And we're going to fry it here for probably 7-8 minutes, something like that. Maybe a little bit more, we will see. Because, as I said before, we're going to double fry this to get that real crispy skin. So we're going to let it go and keep basting. Well, as you can see, I've put a lid because the thing...
It's popping like
popping
crazy.
like it sounds like making ginormous popcorn or something like that. So beware of that and be careful. But now we want to take it out. Look at that, though. Look at that, though. Let it drip here, and then we're going to take it out just for cool down ever so slightly. There we go. And look at that. We are not crispy yet, but this is part of the process. Now you want to let it rest a little bit here while we crank up the temperature to around 180, 360, something like that. So let's see where we are right now.
Okay.
We crank it up, we let it rest. Give me 5, 8, 10 minutes just to let it cool down a bit so we're ready to do the refrying. Rest it a little bit, and the oil is actually 185, 370, which is okay because it will cool down a little bit when we lower this in again. So in we go, and on with the lid because it does spritz all over, but now we let it go here. As you can see from the top, I'm being a little bit careful. Now we want to let it go until the skin crispens up nicely. So that will take another 5-8 minutes, probably, maybe even 10. We will see. Well, I think we are just about there because now it also stopped popping and banging that much as it did before, you know. And we didn't clean deliberately, so you can see what kind of a mess this leaves. You have to know what you're going into.
Mess.
You have to know what you're going into here, but we've had it before. It's worth it, but maybe you should do it on your barbecue on the veranda. But here we are, and it looks goddamn pretty, actually.
Yeah, it does.
And now we are going to leave this to rest here a little bit because, first of all, now it's super hot, but already now, without resting, listen.
I can hear it.
Listen to that. That is crispy pata. We're going to leave that to rest, cool down a little bit before we do the taste test. Well, I said crispy pata, and I meant it. Listen.
That's crispy, all right.
That is crispy pata. And that, but so succulent inside, but you really have to dig in here. And this is actually something where you can, again, it's not my favorite thing to do, but you can use your hands here because it's difficult to carve out, but super succulent. There you are.
Let's see the flavor. Does it resemble the one in the Philippines?
I'm pretty certain. But I'm going to try my dipping sauce also together with this because this is nice, crispy, juicy meat, super juicy. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but fantastic.
Yeah, we can hear it. Is it good?
It's a great recipe.
Okay.
I'm missing lemongrass.
Ah, okay.
That's the only thing I'm missing, but that's difficult to find here, so.
Live with it.
But succulent meat, crispy on the outside. It's like eating pork crackling, you know, it's perfect. If you are up for the mess with the oil frying, definitely give this a shot.